Three, two, one. Rolling sound. All right, give me a good clap. Perfect. Who are you?
I'm Daniel Pascal. I am 30 years old. I'm a nurse, pharmaceutical sales rep as well. Former musician. I played a lot of different instruments growing up. Kind of former athlete too. And I'm a husband, a son, a nerd, kind of a Marvel enthusiast. Uh, yeah, it's kind of me in a short little nutshell.
What was your childhood like? What were
Uh,
some important lessons you learned then that you carry with you today?
Yeah, sorry. um, Childhood was good. I grew up with both my parents. I was born in New York, and my parents soon after my little brother was born, we moved down south, and we had a great childhood because we did a lot of different things. When we were small, we would go back up to New York every summer and visit our family. Um, but as I got older, um, I kind of was like, my parents were kind of training me and my brother to be independent. And that independence is kind of like what I have nowadays. So sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Good because, I'm able to kind of be self sufficient, but bad because sometimes I don't necessarily like need people. And it leaves me kind of emotionally unavailable. That's something that I'm working on. My parents were loving. My dad was kind of like the traditional provider, wanted to make me, a good man of God. My mom was the caregiver in the relationship. So you kind of had those, but both of them were like education, achievement. Those were the important things in my household. So, those kind of things I bring with me now. Like I'm always trying to make sure like I'm I can kind of stand for something. Like I'm always, doing something that's kind of meaningful, but at the same time, there could be a lack of like emotion with that. Um, and that's something that now I'm carrying with myself and trying to change about myself. So if I have children, I can give them both aspects in their life.
How does a flower grow?
You want like a technical explanation, or I guess like philosophically it's the right combination of nutrients coming together to help that seed grow. um you know when you think about it, it's the perfect storm of different things all at once that have to be right at the exact time, the right amount. Like you need the right, I don't know, like nitrogen, oxygen, all these other minerals and stuff that are in the soil, that right soil itself. And then it's going to need sunlight, and it has to have everything to make it grow. And that's, kind of like what we say with like nature versus nurture for humans. We all have the right things to create, life, but how do we nurture it? How do we actually truly make sure it grows up to be a productive member of society or a flower in our society?
All right, I'll ask you to give me a random number from 1 to 100.
Uh, let's roll 92. It was the year I was born.
If you were given a choice to choose the manner of death in which you would die, how would you die?
Man, that's deep, man. uh, I number one, I would hope that it'd be quick. I don't want to prolong death at all. That's something I've told my wife. I don't want to live on events. Being a nurse, I've seen people like on like respirators and vents and doing all these things to try to prolong life. I feel like when it's my time to go, like I want to just go ahead and go. Um, but I hope that I'm surrounded by loved ones. I get a chance to say goodbye, and that is very quick. I always tell Kia, and I know it's pretty selfish of me, but I hope I go first because the thought of living without her is I can't even fathom that. So, like again, it's selfish of me, I know, but I know I'd go soon after her. So, yeah, that it'd have to be quick. Just definitely quick.
All right, give me another number from 1 to 100.
All right, so let's do 50.
What are some of your own personal goals for the next 5 years?
Uh, well, I want to continue to work on our business. Um, that's obviously professional goals. I have other professional goals for my business, like getting more certifications and things like that. Just improving myself, being a better nurse, being a better, provider for, just like our house and everything. But personally, I want to get back into shape. I know it's a cliche. Everybody starts working out at the beginning of the year, but like I have started that. Like I want to run a 5K this year, which everybody knows me. I despise running with a passion. But I'm going to do it to challenge myself. I want to also be accountable to my friends and family. So um reaching out more. The phone works two ways, so I know I complain about people not talking to me, but I want to reach back out to people, letting them know I love them. There's no shame in letting people know that you care about them and you love them, because you never know when things may change. I'm always on the road, so a fear of mine is like, did I not tell my wife I love her? Did I not tell my family that I love them? And then something happens to me while I'm on one of my work trips. Um, so being accountable there, being a better husband, being a better brother, being a better son, um, being a better Christian is definitely a big one. Those are all just goals for the next 5 years, and if I'm blessed with it, being learning how to become a good father as well.
All right, give me another number from 1 to 100.
32.
What's on your bucket list for this year?
Ooh, uh, I want to travel, man. Like I really want to do a cruise this year. Like that's but I want to do a cruise. Like I've been to the Caribbean and stuff. So like I haven't been to Mexico though. So a cruise to Mexico would be dope. But yeah, just a cruise, something where I can get like just me, her, or meet some friends together. Really ideally getting friends together, or even having like a house party. That's a bucket list. With COVID, like we've been so isolated. Again, being nurses, no one wants to come visit us because they all think we have the plague. But I want to just get together with people, in a safe way. Hopefully it's safe. And just be around loved ones. I think that's really kind of what I've been missing the last few years of my life.
All right, give me another number from 1 to 100.
Ah man, you're making me like think about math and stuff. Let's go 72.
What did you do when you hurt someone the most?
um okay, I mean I could just give a particular circumstance. Hurting my wife by, just not being, this is when we were dating, but just kind of being full of myself. So I was going through a real kind of depressive state, not thinking clearly, just kind of grasping at straws when I was in undergrad, not knowing where my life was going. And I thought that plan that I had when I started school was falling through the cracks. It just wasn't working out. I had met with my advisor, and he's just like, I mean, you're probably gonna have to do a whole nother extra year. And I'm like, dude, this school is expensive. I can't do a whole nother year. So at the time, I was living in an apartment. I was working at CBS as a farm tech, working a boatload of hours, trying to pay my rent and stuff. And I just kind of threw up my hands. I was just like, F it. And I just, like, my parents were like, well, you got to figure something out. And I was like, screw it, I'm joining the military. I was already thinking about it, but I was just like, I'm just going to join the Air Force. So I joined, and it was like the first like real accomplishment. So I started feeling myself. I started like thinking like, oh man, like, I got something, like I made it through basic. I was like distinguished graduate there. I was going through tech school. Everything was like, things started feeling like it was going well. So I started getting attention, and that led to, me just making some stupid decisions with another woman. And it really hurt, my girlfriend at the time, my wife now. Um, So for me to kind of try to figure that out and navigate backing up and like, okay, why am I feeling that? So I had to analyze myself. At first when when you make a dumb decision, sometimes you're like, well, I'm not doing anything wrong. Like I'm doing me. It is what it is. But seeing the hurt, in the conversations that we had and FaceTiming and all that kind of stuff, I was like, well, okay, I need to address this. I need to figure out what am I doing? Why am I like this to hurt the person that I actually do care about. Um, it was really kind of I was 22 at the time, so I was it was pretty deep. I don't know how I got that deep with that whole situation, but um, I took some time and really apologies are kind of like you're gonna apologize all you want, but I think when someone sees the action. And that's what I had to do. I just had to show her like I'm all in with this relationship. Like I'm truthful. I'm honest with you. I made a mistake, and if I have to pay for it for the rest of my life, and that's fine. But I will continue to do the actions to show like I was just a dumbass with that, and hopefully you could forgive me. And she did, and we're married now. But I always keep that in the back of my mind that it could be very easily to hurt the people that you love. They get hurt more than a random stranger will.
All right. I'll ask you for the final time. Give me a number from 1 to 100.
Uh, let's go 5. Sorry, I got you jumping all over the place, place on it.
Are you more worried about doing things right or doing the right things? How do you know the difference for yourself?
I'm more worried about doing the right things. I think again, kind of like with my background with not feeling like I had like a true direction and I feel like I'm on the right path now with learning about I'm sorry. But I feel like I'm on the right path kind of like figuring out who I am as a man and like I said I'm 30 now and it's like I'm really trying to really finally coming into my own. um I want to make sure I'm doing the right things and taking the appropriate actions. And when I figure out like okay, like for instance when I wanted to become a nurse, how what was the way that I became a nurse? What was the right path? And for me, having leave school early to come back was a personal challenge to the same school where I had to leave and I didn't think I was going to graduate. That to me was the nursing was the right move, but doing it the right way was overcoming that going back to that same school. The difference is, just doing the right thing to me is important. It may not always in be nice and neat in a clear little box, but as long as it's the right moves, it's the right steps in the right direction, I can forgive if there's errors along the way, as long as it's the what's the best thing. And you're not hurting people in the process too. So
How do you find meaning in your daily experience? What propels you through life?
thinking about my family, um, wanting to provide them with the best life possible. Seeing, you know, how my parents have sacrificed, how my wife sacrificed, my mother-in-law sacrificed, how everybody's sacrificed for me, and I want to be able to give that back. So I work hard at my job. I work hard with our business. I want to take care of my body so that I'm not a burden on other people. Um, because I do feel like, especially up until I really became a nurse, that I was just taking from other people. And everybody was like, "Oh, you're working on yourself. You're in school and yada yada." But I never felt like I was actually giving back to my family. I was just taking from them. So that propels me every day because I want to be the provider. I want to be the one that they rely on, not just financially, but spiritually, emotionally. Like I want to be there for them in the ways that they were for me. And not only is that obviously with work, but you know, when my wife being able to recognize like if my wife is upset about something and I can just look at her and now I'm just like what's wrong. She's like, how'd you know? And it's things like that. And before I wasn't doing all that, so that drives me to continue to just be present in the moment and be there for people. um That's really kind of what I'm living for, is just to love my family and friends now.
What has the experience of living been like for you to this point? What can people learn from your life?
I think it's been perseverance. Um, being in real low points in my life, not really feeling like I wanted to be here at times. And that's been in waves. It comes and goes, Um, but I think that through all that, you know, having someone to rely on and having people that you can rely on, is definitely key. Again, like my parents raised me to be independent, but I realized that life you can't do alone. You can't just be by yourself. You have to have at least one other person that you can just call on and just be like, "Man, this today was fucked." I mean, that's just kind of what life is. Like you're a series of just events where you're just kind of like really high, getting a new job, kids, buying a house, buying your first car, and series of lows where that goal that you thought you were going to attain, it didn't work out, or that thing that happened, or that loved one is gone. Life can be really crappy, but life can also be really great. And through all those depressive episodes, I've been able to come out stronger and be a better person and realize things like, oh, I am stronger. I don't have to be so cut off by myself. I can achieve great things. I can be better, and I can do it surrounded by loved ones. And so if I can go through a lot of the like kind of stupid things that some self-inflicted, but I think that everybody can truly lead a good happy life, especially when you just find contentment with what you have here in the moment.
All right. So this is the final question. It's the moment or the reason we're here. Life is fleeting. We never know when it's our time. If these were your last words ever recorded, what would you say about your life and your legacy?
I hope that um I hope that I let you know that I loved you, and that I was a good friend, I was a good partner, that you remember me fondly. I'm sorry. Um, I don't want to just be remembered for being a nurse, or we had a great business or anything like that. I truly hope that I meant something to you beyond the superficial stuff. And I think, that's kind of what anybody wants. They just want to be remembered as, not just the good. You can remember the bad, it's okay. But just someone that, really truly meant something to you beyond like the superficial stuff. That's all I hope, that you really got to know me, the real me. Um, if my kids ever see this, I hope that they know like their dad really loves them, that he would do anything for them. My wife watches this. I hope she knows like I would do anything for her, my friends, my family. I can be kind of reserved and a little standoffish, but that's not because I don't care. I'm just kind of a chill person on the regular, but I hope that you know that I do love you. I do cherish your friendship. It's kept me going all this time, and it means so much to me.
So I'll ask you for the final time, who are you?
Well, first, I'm someone who's looking crazy on your video, but man, I'm just a regular person. I'm a human. Um, I'm I'm someone who just wants to continue to make sure I love people and be loved. I'm a thinker, a dreamer, someone with ambitions and goals, someone who's made mistakes, someone who hopes to learn from those mistakes. Um, I'm just a human.
Thank you for your time today. It's been amazing.
Appreciate it.
And that's a wrap.